Cheetahs. I am here with Mr. King. Hello, Mr. King. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Mr. King, can you please explain your job at the Houston Zoo?
Well, I am one of the keepers for the carnivore department. So my job is to help take care of all of the cats that we have, plus some African painted dogs and our North American black bears. And so we all take turns taking care of all of them and giving them the best possible care that we can, because this is their home 24/7, and even though it's not out in the wild, we still want their lives to be as happy and healthy as possible. You can actually tell them by lots of different things. The Jaguars are going to be the biggest of the three in terms of their weight. They can be anywhere up into, especially the males, can be approach almost 200 pounds. The leopards are going to be the smallest of what we call the great cats, which include the lions, tigers, leopards, and jaguars. And leopards are going to be probably the biggest, are going to weigh about 120 pounds. And then cheetahs are going to be the smallest. And they weigh, the cheetahs that we have, which we'll probably see later, they only weigh just over 100 pounds. Now, if you're looking at the cheetahs, though, they're a lot taller because they're built for running, so they're very thin and very long-limbed. So they look taller, but they're not as muscular. So that's one of the differences. You can tell the difference between those three cats.
How does the Jaguars' large head and big legs help it in its environment in South America?
So jaguars are very strong predators. They're incredibly powerful, and the way that they hunt is they sneak really close through the jungle, as close as possible to what they're chasing, and then they pounce at the last second. So they need those really strong legs in order to jump to get that pounce going, and then their big head is so that they can open their mouths really wide and grab whatever they're searching for. In fact, jaguars have the most powerful bite strength of any of the cats. It's incredibly strong. They are one of the only cats that actually enjoys being in the water. They will hunt near the water because sometimes they'll catch large fish or other animals that are kind of in the water or near the shore. But yes, they do like to spend their time up in the trees because that way they're a lot more hidden from any dangers that might be on the ground, and also it's a good way to stay out of sight so that prey will wander by, and it's a lot easier way to search for food. These are jaguar spots right here, and a rosette is kind of like a broken circle. So it's not a perfect circle, and it doesn't go all the way around. So like these, you can see there's little gaps in the circle, and they're not perfectly round. But also the jaguars have these little dots inside the rosettes, and that's what we kind of like to call those chocolate chip cookie spots. And that's a really easy way to know it's a jaguar.
Is it true that there are black and white leopards?
So black leopards are actually, it's a color mutation, just like the opposite of the white leopards, which is albino. So the black leopards is where their pigment makes them look all black. And so a lot of people will call them panthers, but it's actually the same cat, it's just they're a different color than what they normally are.
Some people get cheetahs confused with jaguars because they all have body fur with spots. The cheetah's body shape is different than a jaguar and leopard. Can you explain why?
So the cheetahs and the jaguars are built for two completely different things. So the jaguars are built for strength. So their adaptation for hunting is to use their raw power to catch their prey, whereas cheetahs do the exact opposite. They have adapted to run as fast as possible to catch those faster animals that a lot of other predators in Africa can't catch. So that way, that's why their bodies are so different, because they use completely different strategies for hunting.
Is it true that a cheetah is not considered a big cat?
That's true. So even though white cheetahs are large in size, they are not part of that great cat family, the lions, tigers, leopards, and jaguars. Those are the top predators of the cat world. Whereas cheetahs, they're that tall because they have that lean body and those long legs for running, but they are technically considered a small cat. And so actually one of the easy ways to tell the difference if a cat is a great cat or a small cat is its sounds. If it can roar, it's a great cat, and if it can purr, it's a small cat. Well, so the Jaguars and Leopards, again, those are the most similar of the three. You're just going to look at those spots, and if it has little tiny polka dots inside the rosettes, it's a Jaguar. And then if it just has the rosettes without the little tiny dots, that's a Leopard. And then Cheetahs, actually, those are going to be the easiest of the three. If you look at their face, they have those really distinctive black tear marks that go down from their eyes, along their nose, and down to their jaw. And that actually has a very special function, because cheetahs hunt more when it's sunny outside, and so having those black marks helps to keep the sun glare out of their eyes, just like when athletes put those marks under their eyes as well. So if you're looking at a cheetah and you see that on their face, that's how you can tell it's a cheetah.
Okay, Mr. King, that was really helpful. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.